The only real God is the one that you believe in. Start looking for the God in others. And if you find you're tuning into a wave, well then I don't know much about being saved.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, friends.
Welcome into another episode of Spiritual Philosophy Chatter with the Joneses. I'm Danny Jones.
And I am Samantha Jones.
And this is episode 138.
138.
What is our topic?
This is manifesting your dream life.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm
Good.
excited
Yeah.
for this one. I love this.
Who doesn't want to manifest their dreams?
Yep, and I love to
And their
talk
dream
about
life.
it. Yep. Another one of those subjects I love to talk about.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Well, before we hop into it, anything you want to share about last week?
Yes, last week we did Learning the Language of the Universe. And I listened back to this episode. I don't always do that, but this week I did. And I felt like we didn't even scratch the surface. And then somebody in the discussion group underneath the when I posted, they said part 2, ?
Yeah.
And so I think that that's a good idea.
Yeah.
And I think what we might do, we'll see how this episode goes. This is what I'm thinking, is that next week we could do a follow-up on both that and this episode, like questions and answers. So anything that we didn't answer, we can get to.
Cool.
Because there's probably a lot. These two subjects go together a lot, too.
Great suggestions,
Yeah.
whoever said that.
Yes, we appreciate that. And then I also did the reading for Jen and her Nana, Gloria.
Oh, yeah.
And so she gave me the feedback. She said, "Thank you so much for the reading for my Nana Gloria. You definitely were spot on with her personality. She was so incredibly sassy, upbeat, and positive. I'm indeed going through a rough patch with my husband at the moment, too, and that was even brought up, which is incredible. And it's exactly how you mentioned it. Ups and downs. Some days we like each other, some days not so much. I'm just emotionally very distant right now, and she was so incredibly right with saying that I need to speak up for what I need. Men aren't mind readers. She used to tell me that when I was younger, too. So incredible. Thank you so much for bringing me that piece." Thank you, Jen.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, that was
Thanks,
a good
Jen.
one. You know, when I do these readings and I hear something coming from a spirit like that, that's very personal, and we're talking about it on the show, I'm like, really? We're going to go here? Because, you know, it's a show, and I don't want to get that personal, but I do what they tell me to, and I'm so glad that I do. There's always a reason, and Jen needed to hear that, so...
Yeah.
And even though it doesn't make sense to me, it's not supposed to make sense to me. I'm just the one delivering the message.
Yeah.
So.
It's kind of hard to determine what somebody might or might not want to hear, especially
Yeah.
when we're doing it on a podcast.
Yeah, exactly. So I just have to trust the universe and trust the spirit I'm talking to that they're going to give me information that's okay for me to pass on the show.
Sounds like it was.
Yeah, it was good.
Cool.
It was very good. So thank you, Jen, for the feedback.
Thank you.
And then let's do our 2 questions that we do
right.
every week. This one is from Chelsea. She says, "Do any of your dogs pick up on spirit activity in your home? And if they do you share a bond with them because of it, since you can communicate with spirits too?" I thought that was a good question.
Yeah, good question.
We have noticed a few times weird things that the dogs have done, and we've kind of called them out, like, "Are you seeing spirits?" You know? I think that they do, but I think it's such a normal part of their existence that they don't really think much about it.
Yeah.
Sabbath and I saw Sequoia right after she passed. We saw her shadow, and I know he saw, because the look on his face too was like, "What was that?" And then Betty, our new rescue, has a spirit attached to her. I don't think I've mentioned this on the show yet, but we believe her owner that had her before us may have passed away, because there is a spirit that's attached to her, and I know she feels that spirit, and I feel that spirit. So there's definitely like a new, I said it to you from the beginning when she first got here, I was like, there's a spirit attached to this dog, came with her. So that was interesting that now we have another spirit that kind of hangs around that wasn't even here before, but it's here for Betty.
Yeah.
And Betty will, you know, she does things sometimes that I wonder if spirits kind of startle her.
Right.
But yeah, I think that they work pretty well together. I haven't had any big issues. One thing that did come up in my reading group this week, though, was that somebody posted a video of their dog barking at a wall and growling and barking, and asked, "Is this a spirit? Should I be worried? Like totally scared that it was a bad spirit?" And I said, it absolutely can happen, especially if the dog's caught off guard. Anything that catches anybody off guard might make them reactive. But they're not going to bark at a spirit because it's bad.
No.
It would be just like somebody different being in their home. It's a different energy, and so they might have to get used to it at first.
Yeah.
But it's never anything bad. That was the point of sharing that.
Right.
It's always good.
Good.
Yep. And then the second question. This was something that was brought up from one of my clients this week, and I didn't ask for permission to use it, so I'm not going to name any names. I'm just going to leave it anonymous.
Okay.
The question is, how do you handle knowing things about people that you discover with your abilities? So, like, if I'm talking to somebody and all of a sudden I start hearing things about them or seeing things, how do you handle that?
Right.
Because this person is working on their abilities, and this is something that they're kind of struggling with.
Right.
And I think it's different for everybody, and like the different things that I face. Most of the time, I'm not told something personal about somebody unless there is a reason to tell me.
Right.
Unless it's something that they need help with, or it's something they're already going to tell me, and then they tell me, and it's just like, oh, okay, you were just telling me ahead of time for whatever reason. But I have definitely found that if you are told something about somebody, there's a reason. So for this person that I was talking to, when we got deeper into it, it sounded like it was a relationship issue, and that there was just like miscommunication here. And so I think that the universe was showing them that there was this problem, and that this person was feeling this way, that their spouse was feeling this way, so that they could better understand their spouse, so that they could see this is what's going on inside their head, even though that's not what they're telling you. And I think that that's a way that the universe tries to help us to heal relationships, to fix relationships. Sometimes that'll happen. That's happened with us in the past, where if we've been having an argument, my mom will kind of show it to me from your point of view, or show me what you may be feeling. Not for me to get into your head or anything, but to make it more understandable. And I appreciate that. I think it helps us to know each other better. So when it comes to somebody really personal, I would say that they're showing you this for a reason,
Right.
and to listen to it and see what you can do with it. And also when it comes to maybe something random that you see about somebody, they may be telling you that for whatever reason, for something that you need to know for the future. We had a friend that the other side told me about something physically that was wrong with him, but it was good information for us. We needed that information, but then he ended up also telling us. So it wasn't like we were snooping, because he ended up telling us himself anyway. The universe just was kind of preparing us, So there's always a reason, always. So sometimes you just need to dig deeper into what the reason might be.
Right.
Don't you think?
Yeah, I don't really think it's like licensed to go and start confronting people about a bunch of things that you may know.
No.
Unless you want to cause really uncomfortable situations for that person and yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the potential, possibility.
Yeah, depending on how you handle the situation.
Of course. But, if you're able to tap in and get things from people that are personal like that maybe they're afraid to share.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. So.
Yeah, exactly.
But I also believe, like you said, that there's a reason it's being shared with you, because maybe this will help you. If this is somebody close to you, it will help you better understand them and where they're coming from, because we all have, our hang-ups from our, from life trauma.
Right.
And so with that, if we better understood each other, it might be easier to receive one another.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes we can get things stuck in our head that is totally opposite of what's actually going on. And then if you psychically, see, oh, that's what's going on, it's not what I was thinking, it helps you. So it could also be to help you in that kind of situation, but always a reason. So just remember that when you get a vision, always a reason. Yeah. So I hope that answered those questions. And
thank you.
We love your questions, so thank you so much for those. And then, let's see, I do a reading every week. So let's do that real quick. This is from Mickey. Mickey said, thank you so much for this. This is my pal. That's the cat's name. She has passed on. Can you tell me if she was happy with me? My husband says she looks so serious in a few photos we have of her. Did she have any fun here? Thank you so much for this.
I think cats naturally look serious. They just do. They look unimpressed.
They are unimpressed. They are. I used to be a pet sitter, and one time a client asked me if their cat missed them, and I was like, do cats really miss people? Like, they just have these personalities that are so just their own, And so I don't doubt for a second that maybe your cat gave you some looks in some photos because even dogs do that. We all have different expressions. Even animals have different expressions. So anyways, let me get into this reading here with Pal. Let's talk to Pal. So Pal tells me, first of all, that you're a worrier. I don't know Mickey at all. We've talked a little bit about setting up a reading, but this is the first time that I'm actually reading for her. So I don't know anything about Mickey. What your cat is telling me is that you are a worrier, and that there's a lot of things that you have been worrying about since Pal passed away. When it comes to grief, we all have the different kinds of guilt and stuff that we carry on, but what I'm feeling is there's a lot of that here. Not just guilt, but concern about, where did Pal go? Did I do everything right in life for her? Did I feed her the right food? Did I use the right litter? I mean, I can feel like you're nitpicking everything about Pal's life. So what she wants you to know is that you were perfect. And you need to stop nitpicking, because you were perfect. And you gave her a fantastic life. And she was very happy with you, and doesn't want you to ever think anything different. Are we all happy every single day? No. And animals are the same way. They have days they don't feel good. They have days where, maybe they're grouchy even. And so, of course, Pal occasionally had those kinds of days. So, your husband mentioning sometimes that she looked maybe upset in pictures or whatever. Absolutely very possible. But for the most part, this is a very happy cat. Very happy. And I feel like you know that there was a soul connection with this cat. And so that's one of the reasons, too, why you're having such a hard time letting go, is because you feel that strong soul connection. And so she wants you to know that she's going to come back to you. But there's going to be some life changes coming up. Nothing bad. Good life changes. Things for you your life moving forward is what she's telling me. So she's not going to come back now. There's going to be a series of changes that are going to happen, and at the end of the series of changes, she will come back to you as another cat. I'm seeing white with orange, so yeah, calico. Yeah, is that what white? It's mostly what I'm seeing is mostly white with some orange patches.
That would be calico.
Okay, I don't know my cats all that well.
I mean, I'm pretty sure because I had one years ago. My parents had one, but it was white and it had orange, but also brown. Yeah. Brown or black spot.
Yeah, I don't see any brown. I just see white and orange. So anyway, Pal will come back to you. And I think that's probably we're talking 3 years maybe down the line. But yeah, so we'll do a deeper reading too, because there is a lot here coming from Pal. Mostly for you, though. This is interesting. Pal doesn't want to talk about herself. She wants to talk about you. So we'll do that when we do our deeper reading. So there you go. There's Mickey and Pal.
Thanks, Mickey and Pal.
Yeah. So that is my recap for the week.
All right, then.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then, episode 138, Manifesting Your Dream Life.
Yay. So first, I want to tell you guys of some episodes that we have done in the past, so that, because we might refer to them, and then we did talk about them last week. So episode 21, we did Manifesting Your Destiny. So if there's things maybe more basic things that we don't cover, that was an episode earlier on in our journey. So it's more of we're just starting to get to understand this stuff ourselves. So go back and listen to that one if you haven't yet, if you need more information. Episode 22 is a signs episode, all about signs. 83 is shadow work, and 103 is nurturing your inner child. And we had talked about those two things last week, so I wanted to point those out. So manifestation is kind of going along a little bit with what we were talking about with communicating with the universe. because you have to kind of know how to communicate with the universe to really manifest properly. It all kind of goes hand in hand. So one thing when I started putting this episode together is I wanted to point out that manifestation is similar to prayer. Mm-hmm. If you take away the religious labels to it, it's pretty much the same. Both require faith and belief that there is something supernatural involved in bringing you what you're asking for. Mm-hmm. Prayer does usually involve more thinking, you know, when you sit down to pray, thank you for this food, whatever. But I think as you get into this spiritual life, you have a lot of gratitude, and that just comes naturally. You're usually thankful, you know, when you start manifesting and you get your manifestations and you're thankful. So just because you're not saying them at the same time doesn't mean it's not the same thing. Mm-hmm. But they are very, very similar, prayer and manifestation. So when it comes to manifestation, one of the most important things to remember is that your brain is the most powerful tool that you will ever come across, ever. It has so much control of your life that it's pretty amazing. And that's...
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know how to put it, but you're not even using a fraction of it to know how powerful it really is.
Yeah. Yep. Manifestation is basically bringing what you want to yourself. It's asking the universe for something and bringing it to yourself through your thoughts, through actions, through whatever it is that you need, and we'll get into that, to bring this manifestation to life. But one of the most important things, besides knowing that your brain is the important tool, is knowing about the law of attraction and the law of vibration. Because the law of attraction is basically one of the biggest laws of the universe that tells us that what we put out, we attract back. If we put out positive, we get positive back. If we put out negative, we get negative back.
Yeah.
So you can manifest negatively. You can. We'll get into that later. And the law of vibration tells us that everything vibrates at its own rate and attracts things on the same vibrational level. So when you're doing a manifestation, if your vibration is low, you probably won't be able to successfully do that manifestation because it's not on the vibration level of the dream, of the manifestation, of what you're searching for. Mm-hmm. So if we put all of these things together, your mind being powerful, the law of attraction, the law of vibration, we get manifestation and ways to manifest our desires. Manifestation is the art of telling yourself really that something is already true as well, and then creating it.
Yeah, that's to me is the biggest key, really. And you said it at the very beginning, was the faith and the belief that there is something supernatural involved, and there. By simply requesting, it will be.
Yes, absolutely.
And sometimes that's hard to wrap your head around.
It is. At first, it took me a while to grasp this concept, and I should have gone back and listened to that early manifestation, because I know at first I was like, I thought that it was so hard. It was so intricate, and now it's like, it's not that it's super easy, but it's that I understand it more, and I understand what's entailed. And yes, the faith and the trust is really number one. Yeah. You also need to let go of any preconceived notions of how things are going to go and how long it's going to take. So
also very hard.
That is probably, yeah. If you're, okay, this is a great example. When I was looking for like little key points to put in this episode, I was coming across so many articles that were saying how to manifest everything you want in 24 hours.
Oh, okay.
How to manifest right now. How to get that person to text you right now.
It's like the sham wow of manifestation. Hey, we ain't going to be here all night, guys, so, dial up now. We'll get it while it's hot.
Oh, yeah. So it can work that way. Absolutely. There are some things that you can manifest instantly or within 24 hours, but something big like a home, a new career, a car, it's not going to happen that way. Right. So you have to let the universe unravel it the way it needs to. You have to put it out there that this is what you want and let the universe take it from there, instead of saying, well, I'm going to find my dream house and it's going to be next month, because it may not be, right. It may not be ready for you, that home. You may not be ready for it. So don't ever sit with that if it doesn't happen right away, it's not going to happen. I mean, imagine if I couldn't ask for something like, oh, I'd like to manifest that my book will be done next week. That's never, ever, ever going to happen. So what I would put out there for my book is I just want to manifest a successful book, and take me there however you need to take me there. It's not about every little piece of it. It's about the outcome. And if it takes me a year or it takes me 10 years, I want to get there. So take me there.
And I kind of feel like things that take longer to create and build, there's more appreciation.
Yes.
You know, because you realize what you committed to.
Yes.
The time that you put into creating this. Maybe you'll value that more in more of a long-term, process.
Yeah.
A longer-term process. And that also tests your faith and your belief in, is this real?
Yes.
Is this possible? I can't tell you how many people, whether it be authors, musicians, painters, writers, that thought, this isn't, how's this going to happen?
Right.
This is going to be real?
Yeah.
And then it happens.
Yeah. It's because when we're sitting at the moment when we make the manifestation, a lot of times it looks like it's not possible. Mm-hmm. And we've talked a little bit about the house that we live in now, but I think that this is a great example of how to manifest something. And it doesn't come right away. We knew we wanted to move. We knew I was having visions of this house, but leaving that out completely about the visions, we were trying to find a house, and nothing was going our way. It was like every time that I would go, oh, maybe this is the house, it wouldn't be the house. We would go out and it wouldn't be it. Mm. And I wasn't going off of what I was seeing. I was just going off of, we want to move, right now. Like, seriously.
But somewhere we would like to move.
Yeah, exactly.
Not somewhere we have to move.
Exactly. So the manifestation took time. It took time to build that. It probably took a year or so for us to really have that happen. And we'll talk about other things in this episode that we did to make those manifestations happen. But you just have to know that some of these things are just going to take time. It's just not going to happen overnight.
Yeah.
Just not. Something else that we as humans, we worry and we overthink and we stress and we create negative scenarios in our heads that don't exist.
Right.
And that creates a metaphorical wall.
Yes.
Basically around our reality and the dreams that we wish to have. We are blocking ourselves. Mm-hmm. Okay. When you manifest, you have to break down that mental barrier and open your mind. You just have to. I'll tell you, I'm not a perfectionist at this, or I'm good at it. I'm a good manifester, but I'm not. There's still things I'm learning. And one of the things that I have to learn is to not worry about it, that I have to let it go. Like, we now live in this house that I love, in my hometown that I love. And the other day I was leaving to run errands, and I was feeling so grateful about our beautiful neighborhood. And I was saying to my mom, oh, I'm just so thankful, so thankful. And then I sidetracked myself. And I was like, but wait, what if this doesn't work? What if this we can't do this? We can't pull this off. We can't afford this. What if everything's taken from us? You start to do that to yourself. What if?
Right.
And they don't want us to do that. And I heard my mom say, you know what? Today is today. It's a beautiful day. Enjoy today. Think about today. Don't focus on the negative of what could be in the future.
Right.
But also something that she's been constantly telling me lately is that anytime that I have those feelings, I have to remind myself that the only person that has that kind of control over where this is going to go is me. Mm-hmm. And my manifestations and my faith in it. Yeah. And I have to have faith in myself. And so when I start to do that, then I go, well, what do I want? I want to be here. This is what I want. So I'm going to work hard for that, and I'm going to manifest that. But I could sit here and I could think negatively and never work hard to get anywhere, and then my manifestations aren't going to happen.
Yeah.
So it is all about mind.
I think that they don't take this as an insult, because that's not how we are on the other side. However, they're looking at that question in your mind as kind of silly.
Yeah.
Because they're looking at the fact that you've listened to the guidance and you've followed the advice and the signs and those type of things that you were given in regards to this manifestation to be guided to the right place.
Yeah.
They wouldn't discount all the effort,
Yeah.
that you put into the things in your life, whether it be this, the podcast, or your own readings or your own manifestations, own readings meaning out for other people.
Right. My job,
Your job.
Yeah.
The things that you're building, that you're putting faith in to create.
Yep.
So why?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why would they do that?
I ask myself that all the time. Why would they build me up so much just for it to end there, Right. It's funny, I woke up this morning, and I didn't even tell you this yet, but for whatever reason, the first thing I thought of was my first apartment could fit in our bedroom. And that is wild. That was at 18, though, okay? So I'm almost 45, so things take time. I didn't... Yeah. This house that we live in, it may not be like the ultimate dream home, but it's exactly what I wanted, and so I would be fine here. Yeah. I'm happy here.
I love it.
But in my 500 square foot apartment that I had when I was 18, I wouldn't have wanted to still be there. So I've been manifesting my life to progress, and it has. And I've taken falls backwards. We all have. But it progresses if you get back on and you continue to manifest and continue to believe that you can have whatever you want for your future. You just have to put the work in. The manifestation is not a way out of the work. It's not. It's not like you can just snap your fingers. I can't just say, I want to be a successful psychic and snap my fingers and tomorrow I am. I have to work at it. I have to put all the work in to do that.
You have to do it willingly, knowing that this could take 6 months. This could take 6 years.
Right.
You don't really know.
Right.
But if you have faith and you work to create it.
Yep.
Or manifest that creation, whatever it's going to take for you to create it, and hold, steadfast on that faith.
Yeah.
Then the amount of time doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. And on a big manifestation like a house or other big things like that, the universe will sometimes purposely try and test you. And try and see, what are you going to do? Are you going to give up? Or are you going to keep going? Are you going to keep trying? Or have you had enough? And I think it's when you say, I've had enough, but I'm still going.
Right.
I'm still going. I'm still doing this. I'm still in this, that the universe goes, okay, then we'll carry on with your manifestation.
There's an interesting correlation for me as far as feelings go. When I feel like towards the end of a manifestation and it's being brought to fruition.
Yeah.
That there's this push.
Oh, yeah, there is.
It's almost a level of impatience. I'm going to say that.
It is.
But
it's because you feel the energy.
Yeah, it's like almost... It's like sulking in your shit, but it's not.
It's true.
I don't know how to put it.
It's true.
You realize that at a moment that you're in control.
Yeah.
But you're not. You are, but you're not. It's kind of bizarre. You're being guided by yourself, and others from the other side. And then you have this choice of free will. So this gives you this element of feeling in control, whether you choose this or that, A or B.
Yeah.
But I really think there comes a push.
Yes.
Where you've said, okay, I've thought, I've prayed, I've meditated, I've envisioned, I've asked, I've dreamt, daydreamed. It's time.
Yeah.
And I think kind of for us with the house situation, we were doing a lot of looking around and, researching and trying to find what best fit us, and kind of sat down together and discussed what we wanted out of this place.
Yes. Yeah.
So breaking it down in your own life, whether it's moving to a new home or a new job or a relationship, or break it down.
Yes. Make a list.
Make a list. Write it down of what it is that you do and don't want. That's part of manifesting the things that are right for you.
I wish I had the list in front of me of the things that we asked for on our manifestation list of this house. There were things that we asked for that we didn't think we were going to get. I was like, there's no way that the universe can bring all of these things that I want and give me stained glass. Well, guess what? They gave me stained glass and wood accents that I wanted. You have no idea. Things that I thought about that I didn't put on that list because I was like, I'm asking for too much that they gave me anyway.
Fireplace, we
didn't put that on the list. No. There was so much that we got everything on the list. But I think it's important to point out it is magic, but it's not at the same time. You have to work hard. You have to do the things you're supposed to be doing. If you're just sitting around and you're not really doing anything with your life, or you're miserable and you're not taking steps forward and following the universe, these things probably won't happen. You have to put work in. You have to move your life forward. If you're not moving your life forward, then the universe can't help you because you're just stuck there. So
manifestation definitely requires footwork.
Yes.
It's not like you're going to sit down and write a list and say, I want $1 million by next year.
No.
And not do anything to achieve that. You're going to have to do something.
Absolutely. I think sometimes that people forget that, and they think that it's just going to be handed to them. And I'll tell you that the universe, especially with money, is usually very strict, especially if you come into this life with past life issues with money like me. I was put on a budget. It was the weirdest, craziest thing. I was put on a budget before we were allowed to move into this house and enjoy what we have. I was taught to live with basically nothing after having money most of my life because the universe needed to teach me some lessons about money and how to be good with it.
Yeah.
Because the last thing, like let's just say that you go and you win the lottery, right? And you take away $1 million from it and you are so bad handling money. And you spend all that money just like that because you have no idea how fast money goes. It goes boom, just like that. If you're not taught how to properly deal with money, you're going to go through that. And so the universe tries to teach us the right ways. And they do that with signs, and they do that with, different types of lessons that they put in front of us. The things that make us uncomfortable are a lot of times what's pushing us towards our manifestation. Right. It just is. And money is definitely one of them. I have a lot of people that I work with that are like, I need money right now. Well, what are you doing differently to get it? Right. The universe will absolutely give you money. It will. I've had it happen many times where money has just shown up out of the blue for no reason. But it's usually because I've asked for it and manifested it, or I've done something to deserve it. You can't just ask for something and not give anything in return. You need to be a good person. You need to put out good in order to get good back. There's a lot of that comes with it too, the internal work. That's where the shadow work and all that comes
I could see why they would be strict with money as far as how that goes in our world, because they know everybody requires it on some level to get the things that they need, more importantly, and then the things they want secondary.
Yeah.
But, so there's no shame in asking for, a better situation to come along financially. Yeah. There's no shame. That's not greed.
Not at all.
It's not even greedy to desire or manifest being wealthy.
Yeah. No, not at all.
It's what you're doing to create that money, and what you do with it once you obtain it. Yeah. So that it's a big deal. I could see why. It's kind of a big mess in our world.
Yeah, money is, and I'm sure that most people have some form of lesson that they have to learn with money, whatever it is. So the way that the universe teaches us is by throwing things at us like that. I didn't realize also that the universe was throwing these things at us to prepare us for COVID. I thought we were being prepared for horrible money issues by things being taken. But a lot of times the universe will stop things to prepare you. And it's not bad. It's just, that's just what they do. Yeah. They're trying to help you, trying to prepare. And it's not always comfortable. But it does get you where you want to go if you take that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's the one thing that it teaches us is accountability.
Yeah, absolutely.
If anything, you got to learn, that piece of paper is essentially just an IOU backed by whatever these days. And that's you know, your word to someone else's.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, what ultimately it's there to teach us.
Yeah,
is
for
being
sure.
accountable.
Absolutely, yeah. So you had mentioned making a list. And so that is one way to start working on manifestations. If you have something that you want that's big, like a home, like a new career, like a relationship, something big like that, make a list of everything that you want. Everything you want. If it's something small, you might not have to do so much footwork for it, but you can make a list anyways if you feel that there's enough there. With something big, visualize it. So like with this house, visualized it all the time. Put things, you know, you might not see the house that you're going to see, but or that you're going to move into, but just imagine it. You know, oh, I would love to have a living room with vaulted ceilings, and, you know, imagine, close your eyes, picture the vaulted ceilings. We actually have, I asked our listeners what they would look at as being like their dream life. And there was one person, let me get there. Who was it? It was Norma. She said that for her, that her dream life, looking at it like this, visualizing it, would be my own home with my children and a husband, a garden and a basset hound named Lieutenant Dan, having space and means to let our creativity flow. So when she's manifesting these things, she could picture this dog. If she wants a specific breed of dog, she could picture this dog in the house. Or like what I would do is I pictured our dogs in the house, our dogs in the pool, whatever. And this is a way to bring it to you, visualizing it. It makes your brain think you already have it. So that's important, visualizing. Something else is eliminating the limiting beliefs. If your manifestations aren't happening, besides like timing and, you know, just that kind of thing, ask yourself what's stopping you from getting what you want. Like me the other day with my limiting beliefs and saying, oh, can I do this? Is this possible? Stop it and think, absolutely it's possible, because look at how far I've come. Look at what I've done so far. Whatever, just lift yourself up and take yourself out of those limiting beliefs that you can't have it, because that's something I think that society teaches us, is that we can't have what we want because it only happens to a few people. Right. And that's not really the case at all.
There's enough success and money in the world for everybody.
Success goes by the person. It's based on the person and what they do. And yes, sometimes people are thrown, you know, a lucky hand and they're, you know, immediately have a ton of money or whatever. But those people have problems too. It's just different. It's that you see in them something that maybe you want in your life, but you may have something in your life that they want. Yeah. So it's all relative. Yeah,
that's another thing to consider if you're trying to manifest wealth or riches, is what kind of problems does that bring?
Exactly.
It does.
What do you really want? What does that really mean to you? Like people that manifest fame, that want to be famous, think about that before you do that. What does that mean? Like Eminem and the Monster song, he said, I didn't want the cover of Newsweek. Oh, well, beggars can't be choosy, you know? And that's the truth. But you can manifest and say, you know what? I want to be successful, but I don't want to be like super well known where I can't have a normal life. Right. The universe will bring you what you want if you ask for it like that. Right. But if you're like, I just want to be famous and everybody knows who I am, and you don't take those other things into consideration, well, you might just get what you're asking for. Right. And it might not be what you think it is. Yeah. So
I find that, you know, a lot of some of the big manifestations in my life came from moments that felt like despair. Yeah. And I think the one thing that they're trying to show us and teach us is that you don't have to be in those moments. You can do this all the time. Yes. It's in the moments of despair that I throw myself at the mercy and almost view it as there is no other way unless you help me. Right. Kind of. And there is some kind of unlimited faith at that moment. Yeah. Because you feel like you're giving it all. You're letting it, putting it in God's hands or the universe's hands, or, you know, whatever. Those for sure. Yeah. Like I can think about like rewinding back to my divorce and going and, having to sell my house and living with my aunt. Bless her heart. I love her so much. And back when I used to smoke cigarettes, so I go outside and sit in my car and have a cigarette and be in deep thought about my divorce and all this darkness, that it felt like. And just being in a moment of despair and asking for somebody to come along and change my life, help me raise my child and love my child like they were their own, and make my life better. I didn't realize just how much better when Samantha walked into my life for the second time. We only kind of just knew each other, acquaintances, but
I was like 18.
Yeah, the second time. So, but everything was changed, from not just now I have somebody I love and respect and I get that back in return, but so does my child. And then it snowballed into other things.
Yeah.
Of I don't have to, I had a regular job working in the grocery industry for like 13 years and busted my buns. My body pretty much drove it into the ground as a result. Art was the thing I always wanted to do. It's what I could do. But the problem is working jobs and, trying to get the OT and all this stuff. I have very little time to dedicate to art or even music.
Yeah.
And this happening with Samantha coming to my life, just, I don't know, it just opened up this floodgate of like, now you can be and do what it is that you're here to do.
Mm-hmm. You took that risk.
It's not so much about what I want to do.
Right.
I don't want to go to,
yeah,
work.
No, it's not like that.
No, because I enjoy getting a paycheck.
Yeah.
Trust me. But I also want to be fulfilled.
Yes.
And that's, at this point in my life, what's most important.
Yes. And you're a great example. And our stories really, they line up. It's very strange. But you're a great example because you asked the universe for a better life for you and your daughter. And you asked for somebody to come into it. And you took the necessary steps. If you would have stayed in that marriage, that wouldn't have happened.
No.
So see, you had, in order for that manifestation, that prayer to happen, you had to take the steps forward. You had to do the right thing. The universe helped put those signs in front of you of, this is the direction that you're supposed to go in. It did the same thing with me. I decided in 2010 that I was ready for a divorce, but I didn't know how I was going to do it. I didn't know. And I think that's the hardest part for everybody. Maybe not everybody, but how am I going to do this financially?
Right.
How am I going to be able to take care of myself?
Terrifying.
It is absolutely terrifying. And I came out to California for my birthday, and I don't know what brought me out here. I just felt like I needed to come out here and visit my grandma and whatever. And I went to my grandma, and we were talking, and I told her how I was feeling and that I wanted a divorce, but I didn't know how to do this. And she didn't give me the solution. I wasn't asking for money. It wasn't anything like that. But what happened was absolutely amazing and changed my life forever is that my grandma actually got sick.
Yeah.
And it sucks that it had to go that way. But because my grandma got sick, I took care of her for the last 7 years of her life.
Right.
And I was given a job in California to restart my life. And then Danny and I were brought together, and we've created all of this. Mm-hmm. This was brought simply by me asking for the universe. That's how it started. Please, bring me a way out. I don't know how to do it, but bring me a way out. And everything else, it just took care of. But I had to listen, and you had to listen. And it's not easy because
No,
it's
I didn't
scary.
always listen, but
no,
as time goes on.
But you listened to the universe in the direction you were supposed to go. When it came to us being together, both of us were like, what's going on? There's so many signs. We both felt something, but we're both kind of scared because, we hadn't been divorced from our other spouses for that long.
Right.
But we both just knew, like, the universe was showing me Marina's name all over the place. And, like, I was dating somebody else. I was dating Danny and somebody else, and they were keeping me. The universe was keeping me from seeing the other person. Like, just tons of roadblocks showing me that was the direction I was supposed to go.
Yeah.
And that's what they'll do. But you have to have faith and you have to trust. And, the other guy that I was dating, some may have thought might have been the more logical solution. He didn't have any kids. I didn't want kids. He had a lot of money. Right. There was a lot of things there, but that wasn't what was important to me. And you have to take that risk of, well, what's more important to me? Money and security, or whatever that guy could have provided for me, which some of it wouldn't have been good because he had a drinking problem.
Right.
Or am I going to take this risk with somebody that, has a child and is going through all of this stuff? And I just knew the universe just shows you. And that's where it challenges you, is to be uncomfortable. Because in order to get what you want, sometimes you have to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, me too. That was a hard time. The early 2010s were really tough. But here we are.
Yeah, it's... Again, everything is a test of your faith and your patience, because you have to remember our time isn't the same as the other side's.
No, not at all.
So there's something I'm going to share that I haven't shared yet.
Okay.
I've talked a little bit about it, saying that there was news that I was going to give about the music, and this kind of goes into I wasn't really planning on doing this, but I'm feeling compelled.
Yeah, then do it.
Because I feel like it falls into the manifestation process and not giving up and having faith. So COVID hit, and that rocked everybody's world. I didn't really even paint almost all year. I was just preoccupied with some other stuff. I wasn't just sitting staring at walls, but I really just wasn't into it, motivated. I was pushing a lot for the music aspect of my life, which was great, is great. So we, had some personnel changes in the past, and have stuck together about over 8 years. And we did the show on October 1st with the Tubes, which was really a good time. I had a fun time. But there were some internal issues with one of the other members, and we decided at that point to let him go. And this is a founding member, somebody that had become what I considered a close friend. And due to personal and professional reasons, we just felt like it was best to move on. So there was a person I had in mind to ask if they would be interested in joining. And this person declined, which I understood. They're pretty busy.
Yeah.
And so my heart's like starting to break. Like, is this thing going to fall apart? And that's where I start hearing those messages. Don't go down that road. Why do you think we've given you everybody you've sought to put in this group?
Yeah.
They're here. Unfortunately, this particular member, we can't change them and their free will.
Yeah.
So until they learn their lessons, you're probably best to... And Samantha was really kind of not against me in it, but kind of pushing me to like, no. Even prior to this, when I could see us going down this path and I didn't really feel like there was going to be a good outcome, she was really encouraging me, stick with it. And so I did until after this show. And then I said something to her and her response was completely different.
Yeah, it was so weird.
You could like feel the energy in the room. Like they were saying, okay, it's time to reevaluate this.
Yeah.
And so that was the first time she said, I think you're right. And I was like, whoa.
Because the universe released me. They allowed me to finally say that. Because before, no matter how much I wanted to say that, I was like, no, can't do it. Not time.
And it made me feel good in a moment where I was feeling really bad for having to make that choice.
Yeah.
Of letting such a long-term member go and not just the partnership in music, but the friendship and all that. But so, like I said, the first person that I thought of declined, and then there was a second person that I had in mind. And that person is coming to audition on the 13th of this month.
Oh, the 13th.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we're really excited about that.
Yeah.
And it's a testimony to myself and to others, I hope, that don't give up.
Yeah.
You know, because it's there. You know, and I kept thinking in my mind, oh, we're sitting here, we're waiting weeks and months to figure out where this is headed.
Yeah.
Where this is going. You know, somebody's going to leave. It's all going to fall apart. And
yeah.
You know what? What's the worst if it did? I go on and I live my life and I do other things.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen that happen yet.
Yeah.
And I see this dedication, this sort of appreciation for finding the people that we fit best with.
Yeah.
And wanting to see what comes of that.
Yeah.
So
it's a faith.
It's a faith thing.
Yeah.
It's really a faith. I'm still putting in the work. Mm-hmm. And in the meantime, it got me kind of back to like, it's time to paint again.
Yeah.
Which I've been doing and feeling much better.
Yeah.
Internally, you know, music, when it lacks for me, is hard. It's like a therapy. I need to get in the room.
Yeah.
I need to feel the bass
The
and
energy, for
the
sure.
notes and the crashing and the it's just therapy for me. So is painting, but I have to have both in a balance.
Yeah.
So anyways, that's kind of the news I've been saying I was going to share. I wasn't going to share until the audition actually happened, but I'm pretty confident. This guy is really talented, and we've all known him a very long time.
Yeah.
And so
the universe brings you who you're supposed to have.
That's what I realize.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily as much as what I want, but more about a mixture of what I want mixed in with what I really need.
Right, because what you want may not be what you need.
Right.
And it may look like something like, you can apply this to relationships too, but we'll just use your music example, is that you don't know what that other person would have been like in the band, how it would have meshed, how it would have worked out, what their schedule would have been like. The universe is trying to give you a better option. And so you have to put faith in that. And this whole band story, this is like 1/1,000,000th of what has actually gone on. And there is no way that the universe would be building this to just say no.
Right.
To just, okay, that's the end of it. But in order to make this manifestation happen, you have to show that you're dedicated, that you're devoted, that you're going to put in the work no matter what it means. And once they see that, that's when they start really working with you.
Yeah.
We only have a few minutes left. I want to talk about, because we've really only talked about big manifestations. I want to talk about small manifestations, because you can manifest all these big things, but you can manifest small things. One of the examples I have is that when we moved into this house, one day all of a sudden I just said, it would be really cool to have a piano. And I thought, okay, we can do that. And then I started thinking, you know what? My grandparents had a player piano, and I loved their player piano. And man, it would be so cool if I still had theirs, or if I could find one. But, that's probably really difficult to find. But universe, you know what? Bring me a piano. Bring me a nice one. And you know what? It brought us a player piano. It wasn't free, of course, but they took us, you found this person I actually did a reading for. She was totally just like us, spiritual type person. It was, nothing about it was hard to do. It wasn't like, moving a piano is ridiculous, but our movers that moved us into the house were like, we'll do it.
Right.
And everything about it was smooth.
It's easy, yeah.
But I just put that out there. I really didn't even ask. I mean, I did ask for a piano, but I didn't ask for a player piano. I just said, I would like one. Yeah, sure. But I don't, I never thought that it could happen. But putting it out there into the universe, it brings those things to you. Our cleaning lady, this was something that for a long time I was like, universe, I really need a cleaning lady, please. But then COVID hit, and then nobody was doing anything. And so I just had to sit with it for a while. And then I started getting those foot zones. And I was sitting there one day and I heard, ask her if she has a cleaning lady. I was like, what? Why would you just, like, random stuff like that throws me off. And so I'm like, Jessica, you have a cleaning lady? And she's like, oh yeah, I do. She's wonderful. And now we have a good cleaning lady. But simple things. If you need it, like dog trainer, we've done that.
Yeah.
We found a free ottoman for our dog that I was like, we need a new ottoman. Boom, next day there's a free one in the neighbor's yard. it's just things like that happen.
Yeah.
And it really is a lot of times, especially with the small things, that simple of just saying, I could really use this. Not like, I think, I could really use $1 million. Well, come on. Let's be realistic here.
Right.
At that time that we needed that ottoman, we really needed it because Zumi had destroyed the other one and he loves his ottomans. Mm-hmm. So there it was. We didn't have to go out and buy it, but we needed it.
And was the same exact one we had.
Same exact one. I think we told that story once, but yeah, that was a weird one. But these things, they happen. But if you are a miserable person sitting in your own shit, it's not going to happen. The universe likes to see us working, even if we don't feel like we're getting anywhere. Because some days I don't have any readings and I feel like, what's my purpose on this planet?
Yeah.
Well, maybe you need to write your book.
Yeah.
Even though you're not getting paid for that right now. Yeah. Write your book. Do some free readings in your free reading group. I do that every morning now. That brings good to me too. By putting out to people, helping people, that helps to bring your manifestations to you. So the universe wants to see you working and they want to see you being a good human and helping your fellow man and learning. These are the things that'll help manifestations come to you more so than a lot of other ritual type things. Yeah. It's just about, being patient and putting in the work, really.
And, we all have fear of the unknown.
Oh, yeah.
Things we don't know, how do I do that? I don't know how. I'm scared.
Right.
We all have fear.
Yeah.
But that fear of, I don't know how to do this or obtain that isn't going to kill you.
No.
Right? It's not going to end your life.
No, for sure.
Manifesting doesn't require dangling from a 200-foot cliff.
Yeah.
You have to not let the fear stop you in your tracks.
Yeah.
And I'll go back to the music just as an example for me again. Early on in the band, when the first drummer was let go, he was the one that had the main knowledge of how to operate the recording software that we had. And I was terrified.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I wasn't sure how to do it. And I realized, because I had purchased the equipment to do it, going, okay, we got this group and this guy's got the knowledge and we all have the players. Now we can record.
Yeah.
Once we let him go, I was totally terrified. It stopped dead in my tracks. If I don't know how to do this, I've been doing it for 3, 4, 5 years. I don't know how long it's been. But to not just learning how to record the podcast, but learning how to record our recordings and demos and not being afraid to ask for people's help.
Yeah.
Taught
you a lot.
A lot of people taught me some things that were very helpful. Am I the best ever? No, there's always going to be somebody better. But I was successful because I walked away satisfied.
Yes.
Success should not be measured on the dollar.
No.
It should be measured on the satisfaction.
You're right. Absolutely.
Of the creator.
Absolutely.
So that's just another example that I didn't stick with it. I mean, I didn't give up. I stuck with it, and I didn't let fear keep me frozen in my tracks because I knew nobody else is going to do this. It's sitting in your home.
Yeah.
You have to learn it.
Yep.
And so I did.
You did. The universe helped you. So next week we'll definitely have to do a part 2. But I want to go over just a few minutes because there's a couple things I wanted to point out real quick that I think are important. One of the ways that you can help for your manifestations to come to fruition faster is by manifesting for others. If you know that a friend needs something, you ask the universe for that friend. If you have a friend that's in a bad, unhealthy relationship, ask the universe to bring some clarity, ask to bring some healing, ask to bring whatever, a new person or whatever. If you have a friend that's lost a job or whatever it is, manifest what that person needs. They may not be doing that because they may be in a bad place.
Yeah.
And that is very, very selfless to manifest for somebody else. So
it's giving untangibly,
And it doesn't take anything but just, I want to manifest for this person or pray for this person or, universe bring this to this person, whatever. It's quick. So, manifesting happiness. I think we're going to have to talk about this next week, but you can manifest happiness, but that's all about change in your mind. So you're really just asking for your mind to be changed.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that, I think, more next week. But it can be done. It's just different. It's not really manifesting happiness. It's changing
Your perception.
your perception. Yeah, absolutely. But I have seriously, you know what? One more thing. Because I got
a couple minutes. Go ahead.
I got so many pages of stuff, but there is something that helps me. You guys know that I love music. We love music. And one thing that does help me is I have a manifestation playlist. And so I'll give you guys some songs. Listen to these songs. They're just generally like manifesting, I can do this, I'm going the right direction. You guys probably have some good ones too. Maybe you want to share. But some of the ones that I listen to, Whatever It Takes, Imagine Dragons, Jason Mraz, Want You to Have It All. That's a good song. That's a mom song. A Million Dreams by Pink. Fleetwood Mac, Don't Stop. We hear all the time Journey, Don't Stop Believing. That is a great manifestation song. That's What I Like. Bruno Mars. Whatever catches you of like, this is how I envision my life. Like, this may sound weird, but like Nickelback Rockstar might not be a bad manifestation if you want to pursue a career in music, because it's about being a rock star, and it might not be the life that you want. But again, listen to these songs.
I would go with Jukebox Hero from Foreigner
Hero?
before Nickelback.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I know. Nickelback was like the first thing that came to my mind.
Sorry,
but...
Nickelback.
No, they're not so great. And then let's see what else. Bon Jovi, Living on a Prayer. That's your favorite when it comes on.
Bon Jovi, I can't get enough of them.
We hear that every single time we're in the car, and you're like, oh, great. Here, Eye of the Tiger is another one. Yeah, that'll get you going. So these are all good songs.
They're good songs, but you know what resonates for me about these songs is their message. And their message brings you to a higher vibration.
Yep.
That energy. Because they're talking about believing and faith.
Yeah.
And that's what brings you, that's what gets you pumped.
Yeah. And you know what, actually? One of my favorites that I didn't even put on here is by Britney Spears. It's Work Bish.
Oh, man.
Because you want a hot body, you want a Maserati, well, you better work, Bish.
Yeah.
It's true. You want a Lamborghini, sipping martinis, look hot in a bikini, you better work.
Yeah.
It's true. You're not going to get what you want unless you work for it. The universe can only guide you and help you and put the opportunities in front of you, but you have to be willing to take the opportunities.
Yep.
So, but yeah, we'll talk more next week.
Cool.
So, there we go.
Good job.
Yay.
Way to manifest a good episode.
It's another really good topic, and I think, like for me, I've just learned that it's really more simple than what people think. Like, I don't do a lot of rituals. It's just about asking the universe, believing, being a good person, and it'll come to you if it's meant for you. If it's not meant for you, it won't anyways, so.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Well, very good.
Yay.
Good job.
Yay.
Well, before we say goodbye to our friends, would you like to share your information?
Yes, you can find me on my website, SamanthaJonesPsychicMedium.com, and you can schedule an appointment there, find our podcast. Our email is spiritualjoneses@gmail.com if you want to send us any ideas for the shows or questions, comments, whatever you have. We love it.
Love it.
And then you, sir?
Yes, for my art, djonesartcollection.com for the web, at djonesartcollection for Instagram and Facebook. Pretty close to wrapping up this last one I'm doing. I'm hoping to have it before the new year.
Yes, you will. You'll do it.
So, but I'm excited. It's coming out good.
Yeah.
And I'll have more information about the music, as I stated, in the next week or so. So, keep you updated.
Yeah.
That's it for me.
Very good.
Well, we hope everybody got something out of this.
That we do.
Go out and manifest your dream life.
Yeah.
Make it happen.
Do it.
Work, beige.
Yep. Exactly.
And we hope everybody has a great week.
That we do.
Until next week.
Peace and love.